Well, hello, this is Peter Combs from Bitamount.com, BitamountLive.com, and P.O. Combs Asian Art in Gloucester, Massachusetts. And today is Friday, September 17th, 2021, our weekly video here. We do these every Friday if you're new to us, and we talk about what's coming up in the Asian art and auction market. We talk about the major auction houses, what's happening over at Sotheby's, Christie's, Bonhams, what's happening over on eBay, what's happening sometimes with things we're selling on our own site over at Bitamount Live. If you're a dealer and you haven't checked it out yet, you might want to do that. It's become quite active lately. People are pretty pleased. They're selling things and, of course, paying half the commission rate they pay anywhere else because we're not charging much. Why not do it that way? Give everybody a break once in a while. I think this is the way to do things. At any rate, it's been a busy week around here, and just so you know, we'll be doing the video next week from New Hampshire, heading up country for a few days, the middle of the next week, probably Wednesday, I think. Get the place ready for winter and do all that, and we'll do the videos from up there while we're out running the dogs around, and maybe do a little shooting over the weekend. I don't know, something fun. But at any rate, here we are. We did a video earlier this week on Wednesday regarding the Sotheby's, Christie's, and Bonhams sale. And what's coming up in their Chinese works of art. We sort of went through and picked out the highlights that we liked, the things that caught our eye that we thought were pretty interesting. And I hope you checked that out. And now I wanted to get into something I didn't bring up the other day. Well, one of the things I mentioned was that there were two catalogs, Bonhams snuff bottle sales. Those catalogs are now posted on the site. This is the Emily Byrne Curtis collection and the Manfred Arnold collection of snuff bottles. If you're a snuff bottle buyer, check these two auctions out. There's some really great snuff bottles in there. There's some a lot of Ching bottles. There's some Realgar bottles. There's some very, very fine painted Republic period bottles. All kinds of good snuff bottles. Rock crystal, you name it. Go through those. They're very good, and the estimates are fairly reasonable for the most part. I think Bonhams did a good job putting together their work, and the photographs are excellent. And these make great references later on, because it's always nice to have a collection as a reference catalog down the road, and they will be, of course, on the Bitamount site in the book department. I go over this all the time, and I'm going to do it again. If you don't know where to find the catalogs, come to the Bitamount homepage and click the big orange box, and hundreds of catalogs and so forth. It brings you here. And as of today, there are 676 auction catalogs and books on there that you can browse through in catalog format on your computer or your phone or whatever. It's nice to have. I go through it. I read them while I'm traveling. If I'm sitting around an airport, it's much better than watching CNN or something stupid. You learn something. One of the things I wanted to bring up, many of you are familiar with the name of Stephen Jungkook. And Stephen Jungkook was one of the great collectors of the 20th century. His collection seems to be getting dispersed almost endlessly. He was Midwesterner, he was a successful businessman, and invested heavily in art. He wasn't so much an investor as he was a true collector. He was a fanatical collector. And for the last, 15 or 20 years, they've been selling off chunks of this collection, and they haven't finished it yet. But one of the things that Sotheby's has done is they have a online sale here of things from the Jungkook collection, and these are things that are in the modern. We're used to seeing things from Jungkook selling for high six figures, seven figures, wild numbers. But he collected things that he really liked, and they weren't always the most expensive things, but were of impeccable quality. And Sotheby's has a section of their sale, 116 lots of other pieces from the Jungkook collection that the family's held on to all this time, including some that are very moderately estimated, under $2,000 in many cases, and this includes jades and bronzes and all kinds of great things. And I went through and plucked out a couple of the objects that I thought were sort of relative bargains in today's auction world if you want to chase them a little bit and see you might get lucky on some of them. One of them is this very nice Sung Dynasty white glazed twin-handled jar. estimated at $1,000 to $1,500. Very attractive looking pot. And of course, it has the Jungkunk provenance. That's if you're a collector, the power of provenance, never underestimate it down the road. All right, things like this. And then this is a nice Qingbai conical floral bowl. It's a nice authentic one. There are a lot of copies of Qingbai wares floating around, but this is what the back of a real Qingbai dish looks like, with these sort of like little leopard spots all over the back of it from the firing. And estimated, I think, pretty reasonably at $800 to $1,200 US. And then on to here, a pair of these Ming bowls, late Ming. These are late Ming, Jiaqing 1 Li period, something like that. But wonderful, a couple of bowls. Minor rim chips, as they often have. This one on the left, I think, is particularly well decorated. I love the delicate brushwork on it. They're, what size are they? 6 inches or something? 6 inches in diameter. They're decent size. Estimated at $1,500 to $2,000 US. And if you can buy them in that price range, I think they're an excellent value. Really excellent value. Here's the bottom of one of it with a Chanhua mark. And then there's this. And this is rather unusual. This is we've seen this form, of course, is a very popular incense burner form that was done most often in bronze. This one is done in Dewa, or Blanc de Chine is more commonly known. Looks to be in great shape. And often these Dewa incense burners aren't marked. This one is marked with the Zhuande mark, the way they did the later Ming bronzes. They would put the Zhuande mark on it. This is a Dewa example where they put it on there, which I think makes it pretty interesting. Estimated at $2,000 to $3,000. And if you follow the Blanc de Chine, the Dewa market, it's a 17th century example, you know that this is right in the range that the typical ones sell for. And this one looks to be in wonderful condition. A beautiful, beautiful creamy white, not overly glossy, and the potting is absolutely excellent. The shape is really, really fine. The shape is really, really fine. Is of course a virtual exact copy of the Ming bronzes that were done around the same time. All right, and then on to this Qing Dynasty crackle glazed Meiping vase, and they just dated as Qing because I don't know why, but boy, it certainly looks like an 18th century example to me, judging by the bottom of it here. Looks like a later 18th century piece, maybe even a bit earlier, but beautifully done, beautiful glaze. It's got that sort of fish roe crackle on it, and the artist splashed on some extra blue cobalt around the body, trying to flambe it up a little bit, or punctuate the turquoise with a darker blue. But nice looking pot, and it's about, 11 inches, 13 inches tall. $2,000 to $3,000 with an $1,800 opening bid. All right, and then on to this. This, I think, is absolutely great. Get a condition report, of course, but a pair of Kangxi vases in Femi Vert. A nice looking pair. What's interesting is that they're slightly different height. I don't know why. Just slightly different. The one on the left has a small hairline at the mouth, but the decoration is very elegant. The decoration is very, very appealing visually. And again, it's a pair of Jungkunk vases from his collection, estimated at $1,000 to $1,500. And I think they were about 8 inches tall or so, 9¼ inches tall. So they're good size and estimated moderately, $1,000 to $1,500. All right, these are things that you can shop at Sotheby's. You can register to bid and bid on these. And there's a bunch of other lots, but these are just a few of the ceramic pieces that leapt out at me. And then these two, these are wonderful. The one on the right, obviously, is it's a Qing example but emulating Qing ware. And then you have this white glazed garlic necked vase on the left, and what's the estimate on here? $2,000 to $3,000. The largest of the two vases measures about 5¾ inches tall. This one, so they're nice, delicate sizes. They have good pictures of the bottoms. They look great. This one on the right, you notice, has a fungi mark on the base. It looks like a early 19th century vase to me. And the one on the left here looks like also probably around the same period. And you get them both. All right, a nice looking lot for $2,000 or $3,000, and then the last one is this. And I have a few of you out there that send in inquiries because you don't mind binding. But I've got a number of you that do regular inquiries with me, and you're not too put off by things that have repairs to them, as long as they're really, really interesting. Okay, this one has a small repair up at the top. But this is a beautiful, beautiful egg yolk yellow vase with a relief work dragon on it. I think this is terrific. I love the color. The color is really elegant, really elegant. And there is a small repair up here around the mouth somewhere, okay? From what I remember reading about this one. Hold on a second. It had some sort of maybe a repair. Maybe it didn't. Hold on a second. Maybe I may be mistaken. It was just the way it looked under the on the light here. Yeah, here it is. It's not a repair. It's just a hairline. There it is. A couple of small hairlines at the mouth. They're not repairs. They're just hairlines. But this is a wonderful vase. It's not absolutely perfect. It's got, but it's got these dragons stamped on both sides. The color is outstanding. I love the color. I suspect that's why Mr. Jungkung probably bought it. He liked the color and he loved the shape. And it's 7 1/4 inches tall with an $800 to $1,200 estimate. And if you can buy it for twice the high estimate, you've got a heck of a nice thing on your hands. I expect it to blow the estimate through. But boy, this is I think this may be one of my favorite things out of all the items I just showed you, just because I just like the color so much, and I love the way the dragon is done. Just think that's great, the ascending dragon. All right, so those are things to look at over at Sotheby's. Go in and register. The sale starts in 9 days, 22 hours. So basically 10 days. It starts on September 27th at 10:49 a.m. That's when the lot closes. You can place a bid anytime. But if you want to chase these lots, I strongly recommend it. Right now they've just started. I don't show any bids yet, so check into that. Arrange to get them picked up down in New York if you're successful. That's all there is to it. Now, the other thing I wanted to mention was a couple of things that are coming up over on the global member pages that we added this week, in case you missed them. Mainly, there's a couple of nice Chinese rugs coming up. One of them is this very nice Ningxia wool rug done in the Ming style with this beautiful lattice pattern. It has a tear here in the middle. All right, that is not a difficult thing to get fixed up, to get tightened up. A rug weaver can quickly, pretty easily fill that in, or just patch the back of it. But this is a wonderful classical style carpet. I love the brown border around it that's used to frame the piece. And let me see here. It is 111 inches by 64 inches, because they apparently don't like to mention how many feet that is. Call it 9 feet. So it's 5 by 9 feet. It's a good sized carpet. It would make a beautiful, beautiful area in a room. The estimate's $300 to $600, which is dirt cheap. If you have to pay $1,200 or $1,500 for it, that's okay. This is being sold by who's this auction house? Revere Auctions is having this. They get good things off and on. And then this, the Skinner sale is coming up. Skinner Asian Works of Art. Most of the sale, they don't have much in the sale. It's a very thin, it's a disappointing looking sale. I'm just going to say it. I just gone through it a couple times, and there's very little in it worth getting excited about, frankly. And I don't like to say that about big local auction houses, but that's the way it is. I call them like I see them. And the Skinner sale is sort of a dud. But they have at the end of it some nice carpets. And if you're looking for a Chinese rug, you might want to check it out. Something heading down to the harbor, something loud. All right, these are from the Sandra Whitman collection, whoever she is. And there's a bunch of, there's 3 or 4 very decent Chinese rugs at the end of this sale, made between 1900 and 1930 or so. So you want to check that out. The estimates are reasonable, and the rugs all appear to be in wonderful condition, which is a nice thing. All right. So if you're looking for nice carpeting to add to your Chinese furniture and Chinese objects in a room, I can't emphasize enough how nice it is to get involved with and learn a bit about carpets and textiles. They really add a lot. All right, and then the Austrian Rug Company. This is just a reminder. A few people have asked, wondering when that sale is again. It happens in a little less than 3 weeks. They have a 2-day sale coming up, and there's lots of Turkoman, Central Asian stuff like this. Chinese saddle covers, pillars, all kinds of Tibetan stuff. Some very interesting textiles. Caucasian rugs, if you're a Caucasian rug collector, and there's some good Persian rugs. Again, carpets. Carpets are such a bargain relative to other antiques right now. They've come very much softened in price, and it is a wonderful time to buy them because eventually the prices are going to go up again when people come back and develop a little taste and decide, oh, those are really nice, and understand a bit about them. All right, but understanding rugs is difficult. It's sort of like understanding Chinese art. It takes a while, but once you get it, you really get it, and you go, I've got a whole new appreciation for rugs and textiles. The other thing I wanted to mention was if you're in the United States, these are the kind of things that typically turn up in Europe in auctions, and you can't buy them because they can't be shipped internationally because they're made of materials that are considered to be endangered species. And I'm not encouraging anybody to break any laws, but Garth's is in Columbus, Ohio, is selling this really fine Chinese tortoiseshell carved box. And because it's here in the States, there won't be anybody from Europe bidding on it because you're never going to get it through customs. But you can arrange to get it mailed to you or have somebody pick it up for you at Garth's or find a way to pick it up. A really nice tortoiseshell box, and as we've seen in the past, these typically sell in this condition. This one looks to be in quite good condition. It's one of those very finely Cantonese decorated carved examples from about 1820 to 1840, somewhere in there. It looks to be in excellent condition. The color of the tortoiseshell has a nice bright tone to it. It's a nice early one. It might have a little nick out of one corner here or there, but overall this looks to be like a very, very nice box. And as we've seen in the past, they sell for anywhere from $1,500-$1,600 up to $2,300, somewhere in there. Right now, it's got 3 bids. It's at $150 with a $250 to $500 estimate, which is extremely low. This should sell. Should bring several thousand. And if you can get it for less than that, you got a great buy on your hands, and you got a wonderful object. And they're great. They're carved the same quality, the same general style that they carved ivory at around the same time. All right, and then over here, Zack's. This will be when we update the global member pages tomorrow. The Zack's auction that just got posted will be in there, and there's a pretty good range of stuff in here. They've got some very, very nice things. Some good early incense burners, some Qingbai pieces. There's bronzes, all kinds of porcelains, of course, pottery, Ming pottery, Ming figures, Dao Sai wares. What else is on here? There's a very attractive-looking tea-dust glazed vase with a Qinlong mark, and they say it's of the period. And Gallery Zack's is overall quite reliable on their dating. And then you have this very nice Hu Chu Ping. I'd want to take a good look at that, but it looks pretty good from here. And little figures, lots of monochromes I noticed, by the way. And you have things like this nice stem bowl and things. And then on day 2, you have Buddhism and Hindu art and bronze. Oh, bikers are going by today. I guess it's some sort of road trip happening. Something going on down in the harbor. I don't know what it is. But at any rate, a lot of good bronzes, some nice gilt bronzes, early examples. It looks like one of their better sales that they've had in a while. Some pretty good things. So do check that out if you're looking to shop overseas. And Zack's are nice people to deal with. They're a good auction house. They've been there a long time. And get dates as always. Condition reports and so forth. Now, what happened over on eBay last week? Well, it was like I said, it's funny. eBay has been a little quiet on the things that we look for each week that we put in the weekly newsletter for people. When we do the weekly newsletter page update, Here, each week, we try to find things, as you know, that we feel are authentic and represent a reasonable value. We focus on auction items because a lot of the fixed price sellers get a little carried away sometimes. But at any rate, it's been a little bit quiet for some reason for the last couple of weeks, but some good things did turn up nonetheless last week. And one of them was this very, very pretty 18th century piece of cloisonne. We talked about it last week. I love the light blue inner and then the dark blue outer border. I love the use of gilding, sort of an extra amount of gilding on there. It looked to be in very nice condition. And I guess this is Vases had this, by the way, over in London, or in Dorchester in the UK. And a lot of people like this, apparently. It brought $2,547, but it's a sweet little piece of cloisonne and was very finely done and attractive. Nice looking piece. And then on to this. This was listed as Yongchen period. It's actually Kangxi. It's actually older than that. I don't know why they called it Yongchen. Didn't look Yongchen to me. But at any rate, somebody got a good buy on it. In excellent condition, 9 inches in diameter, and $174.88. I think that was a very, very good buy. Line, leave a bid. Always leave a bid if you're not sure. If you don't get it, you don't get it. But, leave a bid. I kind of thought that would bring maybe 300. All right. Anyway, that's the way it goes. And then on to this. This was a funny little lot. It's this chicken skin porcelain Chinese export vase. We had talked about it. I didn't see anything wrong with it. It looked like a very, very nice one. And it had that unusual sort of stippled chicken skin ground with all these little bumps all over it. Pretty good looking piece of porcelain. I couldn't see anything really, really wrong with it. A couple of little dings and bumps and whatnot down in here. But overall, pretty good. It got only 2 bids. And sold for just $800. All right, there you go. So, 2 bids, and we've seen these in the past in this size bring $1,200, $1,300, in the very recent past. So that I think that represented a good value for somebody, whoever got it, especially with that finish. And then this vase, the flambe glaze Fang Hu. I had a number of inquiries about this vase last week. People wanting to know if I thought it was a Qinlong example, because it did have a Qinlong mark on the bottom. Here. They say it's probably early 20th century, and I agreed with them. I thought it was probably a Republic example or late Qing. And if you look at the bottom, that's the way it should look, like this nice flat white foot, and then this sort of creamy, slightly glazed yellow ivory tone to it, and the inside with a 4-character Qinlong mark. But the glaze on this looked very, very good. The shape looked good. I liked it a lot. I thought this looked very, very nice. Could have been Guangzhou, but Guangzhou or Republic period, regardless, nicely glazed, very nicely glazed. And in the end, it did very well. It ended up selling for $7,300, but it was pretty. On top of everything else, the shape and form was pretty. I also saw one last week that was similar to this, and it was a copy, because they do copy these. And one of the things about the copies that you'll notice are, and this was a small one. It was I think it was 5 or 6 inches. And they occasionally did them little like that, but not often. But they when they did the copies, they got the handles wrong very often, and the handles were proportionally too small to the body. You see how these handles look on here? They sort of stick out nicely, and they contribute to the architecture of the upper half of the vase, its overall impression. And on the fakes, the copies, they tend to make the handles either too small or shaped inappropriately, but often too small. And they look more like an afterthought than something that was being done out of any sort of tradition that they were working with. But at any rate, $7,300, which is fine for that. And then the silk, I liked this a lot. I thought it was very nice quality. I think he overflashed it a little bit on the photography, because up here you can see where the blue is actually a good bit darker than it looked in the overall shot. Because I suspect when they fired, if you've photographed silk before, when you fire it with a flash, the flash lightens it quite a bit. And you want to be very, very careful when lighting up silk to shoot it, so you don't change the color. because it's the way the color bounces off the textiles. It's like shooting carpets. Any sort of textile is difficult because of the way it handles light. But it had a couple of little repairs here and there and that kind of thing. But it was a nice quality piece. Ended up selling for $1,125, which I think we talked about. I think that's right about the range we were talking about. And then on to this, the book. I had a number of people ask me about this book last week. Once it was we put it in the newsletter because we liked it, but people wanted to know what we thought it would bring. And a couple of people asked, and I said it'll probably bring $8,000 to $11,000. Because you have to realize there were 14 pictures in this book with the calligraphy, and they did these books. This is a really beautifully painted set. So 14 paintings. You got to figure the paintings in at a minimum of $600 or $700 a piece. And here they are, and different scenes, different seasons of the year, and these are apparently historic temples and or historic places, but beautifully done. Beautifully done. The mist in the mountains and all this with a script explaining what each scene is, but you can tell by the way it was put together. This was a nice book, probably put together in the early 20th century, late Qing dynasty, somewhere in there. And in the end, it sold for $10,575. It came from a seller over in Suffolk in the UK. Vicstick 10 is the seller. I don't know who the seller is, but I liked the book a lot, and I hope one of you bought it, one of the people that contacted me, because it was sort of at a very, very low price when we first put it in the newsletter. It was a couple of $100 or $100 or something, but it was going to get there. Have faith. And then just to remind everybody, this thing is closes, this wonderful little bronze joss stick holder closes in just on Sunday, closes in a couple days. And other things coming up over on eBay this week. There's a few things I wanted to mention, and there will be more things in this week's newsletter. There's a very pretty pair of wine cups, cloisonne wine cups. These look quite nice to me, 19th century, but good color balance, nicely done, good proportions. The enameling on it looks nice and old. I like the foot rims, the way they flatten these nice old flattened out foot rims with a bit of wear on them. Here's a shot of the inside and so forth. It has some fissures in the enameling on the inside, but that's not a big deal. All right, and they're just up to $81. They close tomorrow, and they should bring $300 or $400, but somebody might get a steal on them. And we talked about that. And there's some new rank badges that come up. If you like rank badges, we got a number of them that'll be in this week's on this week's newsletter page. And there's this tortoiseshell fan. With Chinese watercolor, that classic sort of figural landscaping. But instead of an ivory set of blades, this one has tortoiseshell and then nicely gilded ends. Here it is with its original box. And the seller should have included the box in the primary photo here. Because fan collectors love to get fans in their original boxes, and that is the original box, and the original box is worth a few $100. So there you are, and it is. Let's see, where is this right now? It's up to just $48. It's got 6 days to go. It'll get there, and expected to bring $800 to $1,200, something like that. All right, and then over here, last but not least, for those of you that like Chinese furniture. This is a really great old book. This book came out around, I think it was 1980 it came out, or something like 1990 came out. And this is Wang Xishang's book on the connoisseurship of Chinese furniture of the Ming Dynasty. And it's a 2-volume set. It came out, it was quite a little sensation at the time. And it was co-written with Lark Mason. And many of you know Lark. He runs iGavel down, they're sort of in New York and in Texas. They run there. He used to work at Sotheby's. He's been around a long time. He knows, as you know, he knows an enormous amount about Chinese and Asian art. He's a very nice man, and he helped write this book. And I remember it came out. I had a copy of it. I still have a copy of it. And it's worth owning. And right now it's up to, what is it? It's got one bid. It's got 7 days to go. and it's a good book worth buying. And Lark and Wang worked on this, and it was one of the good early books on Chinese furniture that was published. It's quite scholarly. It's very, very nicely illustrated, and if you are interested in learning about Chinese furniture, this is one of the books you want to own. That's all. One of the sets of books you want to own, and there aren't that many out there. This is the Grace Wu Bruce book that we talked about a couple of years ago. We did a review on when that set came out. Also another good book. There's a few of them, but this is a particularly good one. Friends of the House is another good one, and that was the Museum of Fine Arts exhibition book of a collection from the Boston area that was done back in the 90s. Very good reference book. Nancy Berliner wrote in that one. Those are the kind of books you want to own. All right, but this is a good book. It'll be in the newsletter page, and give it a chase. If you can't find something, an object to buy a book. That's all there is to it. All right, and that's sort of it for the week where things stand. And as I mentioned, we're going to head up country for a few days and get some things squared away, put the summer furniture away, and we got a roofer coming. We're putting a new roof on the house. We've decided we want to do that, and other stuff. You visit some of our neighbors, poke around, get caught up in all the local news, check out the ski area, see how they're prepped up for winter. It's coming, and there we are. We'll be doing a video. I'll be doing the video from up there next week too, and it'll be nice to get away for a few days and relax. All right, have a wonderful, wonderful weekend, everybody, and thanks for watching, and subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet here, and visit us over at bitamount.com and Bitamount Live. And if you want to sell something, try the Bitamount Live site. As I said, a number of quite a few transactions went through in the last month. It's been building up nicely, and hopefully it'll become a nice big fat platform for everybody to use and build a bit of a business around. And that was the whole point of it, and it seems to be slowly getting there. It's getting there just fine. All right, thanks a lot, and we'll see you all next week. Thank you. Bye-bye.